Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mojo Market Report right here on a Feel Good Friday from Chop Studios. It is none other than Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci right next to me, as always, partner in crime with his Monster or whatever he's drinking today. This is it's one of those days, huh?
I'm gonna do like that Israel Adesanya you ever see when he's in the press conference?
No,
because they always have the Monster here, and there's a big story about Monster, the guy the representative that handles all the sponsorship deals with the UFC. They all,
which by the way, we're not being brought to you by
I'm actually about to talk bad about him. A lot of the fighters, specifically Israel Adesanya, is the one that I know of. They hate this guy, right? But the UFC is in a partnership deal with Monster, so they have to do it. But the fighters don't like him. So Adesanya, if he sees the Monster, he goes like this right away.
He just puts it away
every single time. Google it.
That's
YouTube
so funny. That is hilarious.
After you're done watching.
It is Friday, March the 31st, the last day of March. March is gone already, folks. March is gone. Tomorrow, April 1st, April Fool's Day. Don't be that guy. Don't try to, like fake announcing of pregnancies or anything like that. Just don't do it. All right, don't be that person because it's just annoying. And you just try to figure it out as you go along. Like,
how about this? Don't be the guy that's able to be gotten on April Fool's Day.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, don't be that guy.
Be the guy. If you could get me, good on you because I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Big day today.
I'm
over here at Chop
skeptical
Studios.
Anyway.
Huh?
I'm skeptical anyway.
Big day yesterday for the New York Yankees and also opening day across the entire MLB. We'll get into it real quick because, again, coming soon to Mojo, some baseball props coming at your service over there on the app. Aaron Judge picked up where he left off.
He did.
You left the studio. If you probably, I don't know if you heard me, though, from wherever you were. I was pretty pumped. I was yelled on the top of my lungs for that home run. I can't believe he went yard on his first at-bat of the season. It was crazy.
I watched that home run.
Center.
How I watched like most of the sports over the last 6 months of my life.
Highlight on.
I didn't even watch it. I just got the Bleacher Report update. Aaron Judge homers in his first at-bat.
Yay! And then Garrett Cole pitched himself a gem yesterday. He was absolutely cruising. He walked the first batter on 4 pitches, and I'm like, there we go. And then he just mowed down the rest. He had himself a night. Anthony Volpe. The stage ain't too big for this kid. Very patient at the plate. He walks. He steals second. Which, by the way, I gotta point out this stat. So, again, there will be prop bets. So when you're looking at basketball, there's rebounds, there's points, there's whatever. The 3-pointers, whatever. I'm not sure if there's going to be a stolen base prop, but if there is,
there will be.
But if there is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you the numbers. In 2022, last opening day, there were 5 stolen bases and 4 caught stealings, a success rate of 56%. Yesterday, in 2023, remember, 5 last year, there were 21 stolen bases. 2 of them were caught with a success rate of 91%.
So what it's going to do
now?
What
is going to happen with this?
Two things are going to happen. One, you're going to start to see a lot more bad hitting catchers that are really good behind the plate because you're going to try and keep them runners in.
A sacrificial 9th spot.
You will start
in
to
your
see
lineup.
that. Then you got the guys like Adley Rutschman, who's just great at both. Do you see what he did yesterday?
What did he hit? 5 hits?
5, first catcher in Major League Baseball history,
which has been around since
the
we're
1700s. Anytime you're talking about something exactly that's been here since before the Declaration of Independence, you're talking about like some historical stuff here. So, first catcher in Major League Baseball history to go 5 for 5 or to get 5 hits on opening day.
Incredible.
Pretty impressive. But to the point of you were saying stolen bases, that's going to be interesting to see.
If I'm not mistaken, also, ready for this? There was only 1 pitch clock violation. Stroman, who you knew Marcus Stroman was going to be.
And Devers got struck out.
With it?
On a batter.
So they got to be in the box at a certain time, and the pitcher's got to deliver at a certain time. Now, the only thing I'll say about all that is this. You got to make it visible to the viewer. I asked you, and you're like, I'm not watching the game. So
Dave's in I'm in one room, no game on. Dave's in the room, game's on, and he's asking me questions. He's like, hey, where do they show you? I'm like, Dave, you're the one watching the game. Why don't you tell me, buddy?
I couldn't tell you until I saw it as they panned out. It's off to the left, it's off to the right. But the viewer, I think, needs to see that. I think the viewer of the baseball game who's not in attendance needs to see the clock because then all of a sudden, pitch, they got to get it off, Just like a shot clock.
Well, I'm never watching a baseball game with Dave.
I'm going to be like I'm like the Leo
ball two.
Yeah. And then
foul.
Whatchamacall? I was going to say something else. But Ohtani went out there, struck out 10, so good on him.
See if the stage isn't too big in like August.
Truth.
Like
for Volpe, yeah.
400,
We'll see.
300.
We'll
Let's
see.
Then.
That's another thing. With the pitch clock, I also think there's a rule that you can only throw over twice to first base. Remember how they used to throw over like 17 times?
You can't keep checking the runner.
Dude, it was like the game started at 1. It was 2 o'clock, 1 hour through, and I was in the 5th. And I was like, this game is flying.
So there's going to be guys that are going to get really good at leading. Like they're going to try and get you to throw over.
The bases are like the size of a pizza box now, like a large pizza.
You know, get a long enough lead.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting.
Lead. How would you say a long lead? Big lead.
Big lead.
Big
Yeah.
lead.
Like I told you about Ohtani.
Time.
The big news in New York, outside of the Yankees, is that yesterday, before the game even started, the Mets did get their first win of the season. However, Justin Verlander put on the IL. That's going to be something, that you have to worry about with an older pitcher like this? Like, I know he came out and said it. The team came out and said it. Luckily, it's now and not July.
They were like, all right, well, this is going to get bad early for Mets fans. So they
Talk
were like,
about a return of investment.
How hurt are you? He's like, I don't really know. He's like, well, we're going to tell everybody that if you had to, you could, and you just don't want to push it.
Right.
Because you're 56.
Exactly. But yeah, so anyway, big injury update as far as that. On the NFL front, not much going on. Obviously, this is that lull period between free agency and the draft. Mock drafts aplenty. I do want to touch on one that went down yesterday. Cynthia Freeland of NFL.com put hers out. She's very, very, very analytical. So she's really dives into the numbers. So sometimes like wins above her play, like just a whole bunch of.
So basically, like, it doesn't matter what she says.
She's going based off the numbers, not a feeling.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
like she's not watching film.
I don't know. I don't know how she does it.
Based on your assessment, is
chalk
like,
1 to 4. Everybody knows
I'll
three
take
quarterback.
If she's mocking.
All right. So Will Levis. Here's the interesting one. Will
that.
Levis to the Falcons at 8. So we just talked about how Desmond Ridder was the guy. Which, by the way, on the Mojo app, there was a big bet alert that came up over the feed yesterday that somebody's going very long on Desmond Ridder. So the confidence is there, according to some of the users over on the Mojo Market. The Packers were the first ones to draft a receiver at 15, Jackson Smith and Njigba. So the Packers get that one. The Giants land another tool for, I mean, he might be a tool, but like a weapon for Daniel Jones at 25 with Zay Flowers, and another mock draft where the Dallas Cowboys take Bijan Robinson. We talked about him yesterday and how much of
I've seen him get mocked now to 3 NFC East teams. The odds-on favorite, according to Vegas.
You got him mocked to the Washington Commanders?
Not me.
I'm saying somebody did.
Like Vegas has them at plus 450.
Yeah.
For him to go to the Commanders. Cowboys are on that list. The Eagles are now bumped because I think the Eagles are out on that.
Oh, I would hate to see this guy wind up running the football for the NFC East across the board. Yeah. So anyway, huge. Again, it's going to get bigger.
Did you see the
faster pace as we go along?
Workout or his? I guess how yoked he looked.
Bro, he's gonna get it. Hi, Will. Yeah, we're the piss guys.
That's
Can you
fine.
just like that? You will get tested for that.
Last year he got hurt.
He looked shredded.
He couldn't work out as much. But then I also saw yesterday a mock that had him slip out of the first round. So we'll see.
I did too.
Quarterbacks, it's up in the air. I think that whoever wasted their pick on Anthony Richardson is going to regret it.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, bold. Why? The Colts right now are mocked in this one again. You think he's gonna bust?
I mean, I don't believe in Justin Fields, so I'm certainly not going to believe in this guy. And I don't think that he doesn't because he's not talented. He's got all the talent in the world. But when I hear things like, "Oh, he needs to work," and they're expecting him to come in and play the 3rd pick overall. Guess what? You're not going to get much work.
I don't know if the Colts draft Richardson. I don't think he starts right away.
Bro, there's probably
they got Gardner Minshew over there,
throwing
who's
the ball 75 yards
capable.
is cool. Does not matter. Throwing it 70 in the NFL is just as good. You know, you don't need a 75-yard bomb. Nobody's doing those.
It's got to be on a rope.
Nobody doing those.
So now to the NBA. Last night, it's funny. We talked about how Giannis and the Bucks have been just beating teams up throughout the course of the year. They've been the 1 seed, the no doubter. Yesterday, they ran into a buzzsaw known as the Boston Celtics, as they now, within a couple games left, in the season. It looks like they got 76. So there's about 6 games left. You all right over there?
Chug.
Oh, yeah, well, don't do that. But 3 games now behind after last night's game. The Celtics beat them by 41 points last night. The Celtics put up 140 points. Tatum scores 40. Jaylen Brown scores 30. Are the Celtics equipped to take down the Bucks if push comes to shove?
That's going to be a really good series if they match up, but I don't think so. I think, if anything, this was one of those games where you're like, all right, we're down however much. Nobody barely played in the third and fourth quarter for the Bucks.
Giannis only had 24.
Once it got out of control, they all kind of just said, this game is over.
Celtics scored 75 in the first half.
Yeah.
So they were cruising.
Yeah, it was an easy win. They shut it down early, and they moved on. It was like a getaway day. So, hey, on the back end of this one, we're just going to shut it all down. But when it comes down to a playoff series in 7 games,
you like Giannis?
I like Giannis.
Yeah. Giannis has the playoff experience, obviously.
Not that the Celtics don't, but guess what? Tatum has been...
Deeper runs, I mean.
Tatum kind of didn't show up in the postseason last year. He had that one good opening series, maybe a couple good games, but then in the second round, he completely fell flat.
Yeah. So interested to see that. As there was only 2 games on the dock last night, we're looking at the standings real quick before I get into my next topic with the NBA. It looks like going into the weekend, once again, from the 4 seed now, all the way to the 10 spot, we are 3.5 game separation with about 6 to play. It's going to get very interesting. And if you look at the schedule tonight on a Friday, look, the weekend's loaded with NBA games. Tonight, if I have to just kind of brush through the schedule, New York is actually playing Cleveland. We'll get into New York in a second at Cleveland. Memphis and LA has to happen. The Lakers go to Minnesota. Golden State probably going to get another win. They got San Antonio, Sacramento, Portland. Dame Dollar ruled out for the rest of the season. That's real tough. You know what I mean? Like, that's, to me, we're talking about,
they weren't winning anything, so why would they keep on forcing the issue?
I mean,
at this point,
yeah, I mean, there are 4 games out of that 10 spot, so that ain't happening, right? So the Portland Trailblazers
4 games
are
out
done.
with like 6 games to play or 7 games to play.
Yeah, it would take a miracle for Portland to make any headway.
And then say you get it. Let's say you get it.
Right, exactly. What's the damage that you're going to cause?
Spanked either in the play-in or in round 1.
Phoenix and Denver tonight. There's a loaded slate, and then Saturday, April 1st.
It would give us all that vintage Dame moment, though, because he would hit a game winner.
Oh, yeah, of course. Dame time. All right, so there is some alarming stuff. We've been talking about the Knicks on their probability to run with the Cleveland Cavaliers throughout the course of the final weeks of the season because it just seemed to be that was going to be the matchup. Now, last night or yesterday on the show, I did mention that, oh, man, Julius Randle, aw shucks, rolled his ankle. Let's see what the prognosis is. And sure enough, 2 weeks plus. They're not even going to reevaluate him until 2 weeks. So that would put him right in the middle of April. The playoffs start April 14th, 15th. So right away, he's in question to play in the first series against Cleveland. Now, my question to you and I guess the masses, and I guess I'll critique it as well, can the Knicks do anything without their best scorer? Jalen Brunson obviously has been a nice breath of fresh air, right?
No.
You've seen Quickly do his thing.
Can't.
Josh Hart's done his thing since coming over here. The Knicks are a deeper team than they were last year. And guys like Obi Toppin are going to have to come in there and play significant minutes.
Yeah, but he hasn't gotten significant minutes all season.
But he will for the last 2 weeks of the season. Is that enough to gear up?
Absolutely not. I mean, gear up for what?
The playoffs.
They're going to be in that spot. I don't think that the Knicks would have beaten the Cavaliers with Julius Randle. So I think that it's pretty much you could stick a fork in the Knicks at this point. If Randle comes back, if they reevaluate and they're like, "Well, we're going to reevaluate him today," and he comes back and they reevaluate him and he's like he didn't miss a beat, then maybe you could say that there's going to be a chance that they win that series. But with no Randle, even for a couple games, it's over. I think it's over anyway. Cleveland's a good team. They're playing well. It's not like they're I mean, are they playing well? Every time I say that, I feel like they're at least 6-4 in their last 10. You would imagine, right?
I'm looking at Cleveland. They're 7-3 in their last 10.
They're playing
they
well.
lost last night, or 2 nights ago.
Even more so. The Cleveland's playing well. They're coming off a loss, and they're still 7-3 in their last 10.
Yeah,
that's going to be a tough team to beat in the playoffs.
Their splits are kind of terrible. They're 30-8 at home, and they're under 500 on the road.
Yeah, but guess what?
What?
Going into the Garden, it's like
different feel. It's almost like a neutral gang tour at the territory.
I don't know. Maybe the Garden in the playoffs, it does get buzzing a little bit.
Oh, it's going to buzz.
But the thing about the Cavaliers that the Knicks don't have is they have the fourth quarter guy. They have somebody that could take over in the fourth. The Knicks right now, Julius Randle is supposed to be that guy, but I don't like that guy having to be someone that you have to get the ball to down low. I would rather that be somebody
he takes
that
a lot of
controls the
perimeter, ill-advised shots, but
nonetheless, that's not how they're running their offense. It's not like Julius Randle's controlling the ball. If he is, they're stuck in neutral.
So like I said, all signs point to the Knicks having to play the Cavaliers. I mean, the Knicks would have to drop pretty much the rest of their games for the Brooklyn Nets to catch them, which I don't think happens. Brooklyn Nets, all of a sudden, they're just like, I'm not looking at them as a threat, but they do have that young, scrappy team that's just like, okay, where are we going to go? They're 4-6 in their last 10, so they're not like, kind of lighting up the standings boards at all.
They're going to get beat really bad by who? Philly?
Right now, it would be Boston.
Oof.
No, I'm sorry. It would be Philly.
Yeah.
It'd be a good series.
No, it won't. Absolutely
Not at all.
would not be a series, bro. Who's stopping Embiid on that team?
Probably nobody.
Nobody. And not to mention, there's probably a little bit of venom coming from Philly.
Oh, yeah. With Harden?
With Harden, Ben Simmons, all that.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Ben Simmons out for the rest of the year. There's a shocker.
I don't really... James Harden doesn't really strike me as like the vindictive, I'm going to come in for
No, he's just a pain in the ass, and he likes to get traded everywhere he's been. He stops there for 4 minutes.
I'll talk to you after.
What?
James Harden's Instagram or whatever. He made a post. It's so weird.
What
I commented under it.
Oh, all right.
And it was under Chop Studios that I commented, so I had to delete it because I was like, I'm not trying to.
Yeah, we're going to get roasted by James Harden supporters.
The comment wasn't bad.
What was a context? Can you say it on the air, or is it bad? Because if it is, then don't worry about it.
He said something like,
it was a story or like an actual post?
Y'all don't know me, but your girlfriend does. And that was the caption. And it was him like walking out of his car or like into the...
Well, he does know.
So what do you
wasn't
think
he like prominent, like VIP strip club member?
What do you think my comment was?
But your teammates don't know you or something?
I just put, this idiot. This idiot. Sorry, guys, if that's not allowed, but...
I mean, look, just...
What are you doing, bro? You're in like your mid-30s at this point.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you talking about? It's like my wife.
Beard game.
Trying to talk to my wife, dude?
Yeah, right.
What's wrong with you?
Beard game
We're
strong.
adults here.
Not so much your Instagram game. Speaking of Twitter, not to bring this up. Well, I guess you could bring it up.
So go short on James Harden for that.
I have to bring this up. So Asante Samuel, who I know, isn't in the league anymore, but he put out a tweet. I think this morning I came across it. He goes, Lamar Jackson, this tweet's for you. Trust me, you don't want to play for Bill Belichick. I was like, oh.
That was Asante Samuel Sr.
Yeah.
It wasn't
yeah, not Junior, sorry. Asante Samuel, the original Asante Samuel. So that's interesting. Look, going back to Lamar
Big
before.
Trust.
Woo.
You do not want to play for him.
Yeah, I just, the more I look at this situation and the longer the days drag on, I just feel like I'm leaning towards you now, Chris. It's either the Ravens or he just doesn't play.
Yeah, they're using collectively
the
ownership.
All of a sudden,
owners and GMs are collectively using the Lamar situation to refix the Deshaun Watson debacle.
Which I thought they were already. I thought
by what?
I'm saying the Browns are trying to restructure and do all that crap just to make it not seem like
you can't restructure like
horrible.
what was once guaranteed. They can't make money less guaranteed now. They could only move it around. So. The restructure is just to help the Browns. It doesn't alleviate the actual contract. The guaranteed money stays.
Truth, absolute truth. Okay. But anyway, I found that pretty interesting. Now, obviously tomorrow, March Madness rolls on. We got ourselves a Final Four. We'll have ourselves a championship preview on Monday's show. But we do have the story of Florida Atlantic. The Owls have done some serious damage throughout the course of this tournament. They're in the Final Four as the 9th seed as they take on San Diego State. And, of course, this guy's bowing out. He's like, what?
No, I'm good. I'm just
college basketball. He's like, I'm out. And, of course, the Hurricanes of Miami, the 5 seed taking on UConn this weekend. Your picks, Chris, who do you think is coming out of this thing? Who's going to be playing on the championship game on Monday? Who's going to do it?
I'm going to go UConn, San Diego State.
You chalk,
oh, yeah,
man.
Chalk. It's like there's 2 games. What do you want me to pick one of the upsets? I think UConn's winning the whole tournament.
Yeah, I think
right?
so, too.
And Florida Atlantic, come on. Do you really want to, it would be cool, but would it be, this is a national championship.
Florida Atlantic, listen,
to be
their
clear,
wins
I don't really care for either of the teams. People are going to make me, when we're talking about NCAA football, it's like, could you imagine San Diego State having to play like Alabama? It would be
San Diego State. Don't tell me. Marshall Faulk. That's the one guy that sticks out to me.
But could you?
Because I had his rookie card.
Like these are not the two. These are not the 4 best teams.
No. In fact, Florida Atlantic is the only team in the NCAA tournament. Ready for this one? This is a little nugget here. Florida Atlantic is the only team in the tournament remaining who has not covered a spread.
I know I'm going to get dragged by some college basketball people for this, but I think people love this tournament for the way it's set up. But for me personally, I don't love it. I think that they should play the series in the Final Four, or even in the Elite Eight, 2 of 3. Like I know that they would never do that, but it would make the winners more true.
It makes it so much better when it's one and done.
It makes it where like a team that has no business being in the national championship is there. And that's the way I look at it. And I know that, again, I'm not a college basketball guy, so I really don't care what anybody thinks about that take. That's my opinion on it. I'm not interested in seeing San Diego State compete for a national title or Florida Atlantic. They're not even in the top 50, or are they? I don't know.
Florida Atlantic was a 9 seed in the tournament, so like they would have to be out there.
Where are they ranked if you did the whole national ranking outside the top 25? Where's Florida Atlantic?
I don't know.
I'm not telling you to look.
No, I'm just saying the spread of that game, the first game, is San Diego State -2.
So UConn's winning based on that.
Just based off the fact that they're going to struggle against Florida Atlantic?
No, based on the fact that I wasn't even paying attention to what you were saying.
Florida Atlantic is dogs by 2. I, for one, okay? I've watched this team thoroughly over the tournament.
It would be an embarrassment for me to pick that game.
Let's go, Florida Atlantic. Keep this momentum going. Keep the positive mojo happening. Get yourselves to the title game. I'm picking Florida Atlantic to win this game.
San Diego State. Name a player from San Diego State, and it's like Marshall Faulk from 25 years ago. That's all I got.
And, of course, in the Miami game, UConn is favored by 5.5 over Miami. This one might get, I don't want to say ugly, but UConn is a powerhouse. We've seen them roll through the tournament the way they have. I don't think there's any chance for Miami to get this game. My championship finals would be a hell of a story. It'd be UConn, the powerhouse, versus the little engine that could in Florida Atlantic. That's my championship picks. I think for at least viewership purposes, people will be more invested in that than San Diego State, where there's no story outside of the fact that they were just, they've gotten through the tournament.
It would be like 20th ranked UConn powerhouse against like the 60th ranked Florida Atlantic. That would be so dope for the natty.
Somebody's cutting down the net.
Give me a break.
Somebody is cutting down the net. I'm excited.
Cool story, but
I'm excited about it. So anyway, plenty of stuff going on this weekend. Obviously, we just talked about the Final Four that's happening, and obviously you have a loaded NBA slate tonight. Lighter tomorrow, heavier on Sunday, but the NBA season is wrapping up very, very quickly. Baseball is just getting going. I know the Yankees have the off day today because they build that into the schedule, right? They're not playing today. I think it's just Saturday, Sunday against the San Francisco Giants. Plenty of Arson Judge jerseys out there, by the way, yesterday at Yankee Stadium. That was the gag. And, of course, over the weekend, I don't know if it happens. I got this weird feeling that it gets done. I don't know why the Aaron Rodgers thing gets done over the weekend. I'm not sure why, because I think Saturday is a very slow news day, as far as sports are concerned. It's light on the NBA.
So you think
baseball starts.
So you think that like the Jets and the Packers are like, let's pick out a day next week, or whether
listen, you'd be surprised how many owners do that. How many owners say like, wait until the right moment to drop this?
Well, I don't.
Bomb.
I'm speaking on behalf of Packers ownership. I don't think that's where we're headed with this one.
Do us a favor, everybody. Follow us on social media, on TikTok, Instagram, and the Twitter machine, at Mojo, MOJO. Do yourself a favor also. Join the Discord. That is the daily conversation to be had, where you can start talking about all of your bets and everything like that. I am going to pull up the app real quick because that's what I do. It's so smooth. It happens so fast. You just hit unlock. There's my face. Hello. And there we are. Big bet alert coming off the board at 3. Ready for this? 3 o'clock in the morning. This is Pat Volkermer.
Put your phone down, buddy.
Yeah, big bet alert. $10,200 long bet on Foster Moreau. So it's a feel-good thing. Get back on the field and get back out there. I want to say it's risky because it is.
I think it's pretty smart.
Right? Because right now his stock's probably at its lowest.
All right, yeah.
That's the truth. I mean, that's just what it is. But the Final Four bets are out there. You can see them on the Mojo app right now. Get on over there. All the prop bets are ready, loaded up, ready to go. Final Four action. We'll talk about the championship game and those games as it happens on Monday. So have a good weekend, everybody. Check us out on mojo.com as well. All the writers are putting out their own mock drafts. They're ranking players. It's all there. For Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, this has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report.
Yes.
Back here on Monday morning. Have a good weekend, everybody.